is key to unlocking the critical minerals needed to fill gaps in Canada's electric vehicle supply chain. We're joined by Theo Yameogo, Americas and Canada mining and metals leader at EY. I'm sorry, I made a mess of your name there. Remind us, Theo, how you say your second name.
It's Yameogo, but you did well, though.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, I panicked there.
No.
So we produce plenty of nickel.
Yes.
No problem. But lithium, cobalt, we have quite the shortfall. In fact, we're not producing much of any of either in commercial quantities.
Yeah. So I think I might have mentioned it last time we talked at PDAC that we haven't been exploring for those minerals that much either. So these are new minerals in a way. The same way we thought historically we didn't have diamonds, and then suddenly when we started looking, we found diamond, is how I see the future of cobalt or any other minerals, like even graphite. We didn't really produce them before. So we need to get encouragement from capital to actually go hunt for those minerals, because we are a very well-endowed country. And I'm pretty sure we can find literally anything in this country.
There's moves, of course, to produce lithium in Quebec, for example. Some companies are pushing ahead. But is the supply anything like what we need?
Yeah, I find that the complication for capital, which we talked about last year in our top 10 risk, and I'm pretty sure it'll be coming up again in our fall update on metals and mining, is that when the global prices are not helping, capital doesn't flow to these companies to actually push hard. And I believe that sometime we probably want to think about committing to certain commodities as a country to feed those gigafactories rather than wait for gigafactories to actually import the material from other places where the ESG and responsible mining principles are not the same like in Canada.
Of course, cobalt leaps to mind there, and so much still comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, we need to get exploration companies hunting those, but they need to get financial backing for the market, or even for the funds, the retirement funds, to actually say, okay, we want those gigafactories to be here and also consume Canadian material.
Mining is such a tricky area to invest in, isn't it, though? So much can go wrong, and these pension funds obviously are going to be wary.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that what makes it complicated is if, in the end, when you think about the supply chain, if the EV makers commit to having sustainable sourcing / responsible sourcing, then Canada is the mecca of this kind of materials, and we need to go get those mines running. And we need to think of it in terms of near-term versus medium long-term. Near-term, the way we approve mines is going to be hard to do near-term. But we need to design that our ambition in the medium term is to be a country that can provide green material that then go into a gigafactory to produce the right electric batteries.
Yeah, I mean, the government has paid lip service to it, and they have subsidized some exploration efforts. But it's sort of like China decided more than a decade ago, we are going to rule in this. But it's hard in a democracy, I guess, to have a long-term plan that you stick to.
Yeah, I think some of these topics need to be more of a generational approach rather than the 4-year election cycle approach, right? So we need to think of it as Canadian, and we need to think of it as making a serious impact rather than, I'm sure the industry is very happy with all the incentives that are being used right now. But I think we need more. We need more, and we need more commitment. We need more offtake agreement. We need more, even at the municipal level, things to go in a way of building Canada as a powerhouse for energy transition.
You did a global study of mining. You do it every year. Top business risks for miners, and number 2 was availability of financing.
Yes. So when you think about capital, you have to think that depends on the commodities. So typically, what we see is that the money is not flowing into the right exploration companies or the right majors. And we think that that's critical because we capital intensive as an industry. So we need capital to be aligned so that we can build the green mines of the future.
What was the number 1 business risk for mining?
It was ESG. This year we're trying to reframe it and call it sustainability or responsible mining because ESG is very broad. And what we're seeing is more of communities trying to think through how to have community development sustainably. That also includes indigenous communities, how they work in the mining sector. But governance is also a big deal, you know, how to make sure we're transparent. And last but not least, the environment. You know, we've seen some of the nickel being produced elsewhere is very bad for the environment.
In Indonesia, I'm thinking about, and workers treated badly
Exactly.
too, yeah.
But, you know, when we think about Sudbury Basin, we're doing it properly, we're following all the rules. So we won't be surprised that responsible mining, which include environmental stewardship, social license to operate, and governance, still comes up in our fall update on metals and mining.